So there you go. So now it is definitely it's recording and it'll be on our website later for you to go back and reference if you have questions. So again, thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sheila Curry, and we are here today to take you through the process of the Community Partnership Grant. And the good news this time is that it's online. We have an online portal this year, so we don't have to worry about paper and emailing applications or mailing them like we used to do 2-3 years ago. So that's the good thing. So right now I'm going to share my screen so that we can go through each part of this application. So can you guys see the screen? Jemiah, Kanika? Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. All righty. So the Community Partnership Grant, and also let me mention as well that the application itself has not changed at all from last year. It's exactly the same, except that it is now online. So that's a good thing. It requires the same information, the same documents, and all of that. It's just that we've now put it in a portal. So, and it's a pretty user-friendly portal, so it'll make it easier for you guys to submit your applications. Okay, so our agenda for today is to go over the timeline. I'm going to review the application, discuss the eligibility, which is exactly the same again as last year. And then we'll go through every section of the application. So the timeline, of course, today is the grant workshop. Tomorrow, we will be sending out a press release, and that will have all the information about the application, as well as a link to the portal. The portal will open tomorrow. It will not open today. So today is just the workshop. The portal will open tomorrow morning so that you will be able to go in and access it and start your application. So you will get that in a press release and an email, as well as it'll be on our website. So if you go to the Community Partnership website on the county's website, you will see in a big apply now blue box. You can click that box and it'll take you straight to the portal. Okay, the deadline for this application is 5 o'clock Friday, November the 12th. So you have exactly 1 month to complete the application and submit it to us. The award decisions will be made in March of 2022. And the grant funding will be paid out to the awardees in May, sometime 2022. And your final reports are due 30 days after the project is over. Okay. Again, the application will open tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow, Wednesday, October the 13th. The deadline is Friday, November the 12th at 5 o'clock. The maximum award, again, is $100,000. That has not changed, so that's the same this year. The only thing that's new is that it is online. That's the only thing that's new. Okay, who can apply? Same as it's always been. You have to be a 501c3. You have to be in operation for at least 2 years. And you have to serve the residents of Prince George's County. And you have to be able to show good standing in whatever state that you were originally incorporated in. So if that was Maryland, you have to show good standing in Maryland. If it's DC, you have to show us a clean hands in DC or Virginia or wherever you were incorporated. We have to see that good standing. Okay. So the online application, those are all of the categories for the application. There are 15 sections, well, actually 16, including the organizational information, which is the very first one. So when you open up the portal, this is what you'll see. So you will click this green button here to start your application. Once you've started the application, you don't have to complete it all in one day. You can come back to it over several days or however long you need to complete the application. Once you start it and you complete the first section, the organizational information, you will get an application ID number in an email, and that number will go here. Oh, I'm sorry. So yes, if you guys have questions, please put it in the chat box. We have a couple of folks that are sitting, waiting for any questions that you guys might have as we go through this whole process. So if you have any questions, please put it in the chat box. They will answer them immediately. If we don't get to all of them right away, you can always send us an email at the PGC Nonprofits email address. I think you're all aware of that. It's also in this presentation at the end so that you can put questions in there and send us an email today or any time. Actually, that's available anytime to answer questions. Okay. So yes, once you start the application, you'll get an application ID number that you can put back here and click check. That allows you to go back in and continue the application. What you put in the day before will still be there. So all you have to do is go back in and continue where you left off. Okay, so you don't have to start the application all over again. Okay, so that's the front page when you first open. So this is the organization's information, and this is all just basic information, your name, your mailing address. This is the address where your services are provided in Prince George's County. That's very important because we need to make sure that you are serving Prince George's County residents. The email address, this is very important here because you want to make sure you put the email address here that you're going to be looking at every day, because this is how you're going to find out if you are awarded funds, if you've been declined, if you have incomplete information. That email is the email address that we use. So please make sure that that box is correct. And then you'll see all the other information that you need. And that's not changed, that's been the same. Okay. So once you click save here under organizational information, you're going to get an email from the portal. This is what it will look like. So make sure that you're looking for this non-reply at COPGMDUS here at the top. This is what the subject line will say, the Community Partnership Grant Notifications. This is what's going to give you your application ID number. Okay, so that's the number you'll use to go back into the portal in case you need to finish before you submit it. Okay, so that's very important for you to keep that. Okay. All right, so now we're going to be in section 1. Again, this has not changed. It's the same as it's always been. This is the service category. So you'll click this down box and we'll have all the different categories like mental health or, education or sports or whatever it is your program is doing. And you'll be able to select which age group that you're serving, pre-K, elementary, middle school, and you click save. Section 2, this is the support category. So this is where you're going to click whether you're asking for program support, general support, or other. And when you click other, there'll be a little box that'll come up to ask you to describe what other means. And you can, feel free to put something there and click save. Okay. Section 3 is the funding request information. So this is where you're going to tell us what your program title is, amount of funding that you are requesting. And the next one is the period you're covering and the number of clients that you're going to serve. Okay, and save. So the portal is really, really user-friendly. So it'll be really easy for you guys to do. Section 4, this is the list of sources and amount of other funding. So when you click this brown box here, another little box will come up and you'll be able to enter other sources of funding that you've received. For instance, if you get grants from the county council or other departments, social services or family services in the county, put those grants or contracts in there, even if they're contracts. So we want to see if you're getting other funding from other sources for this particular program. And that's, again, the same as it's always been. Section 5 is partnerships. Partnerships are if you are partnering with anybody else. So a lot of the organizations partner with the school system, a public school system, because you serve kids. So this is you will click yes. And then if you have an MOU, everybody doesn't have MOUs, and that's okay. If you have a memorandum of understanding, we want you to put that here. So you will click browse and it will take you to your browser and you can put your MOU in here and upload. And I'm going to switch my screen here because I'm going to show you in the live portal how you can upload. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to stop this share. And I'm going to share. Can you guys see that or not? No. Wait.
No, right now we don't see you sharing your screen.
Okay. All right. There we go. So this is the actual portal. So this is what it's going to look like as you're entering things in, just like we have in the. So I'm going to go to section 5, which is partnerships. So if I click yes, that I have a partnership, it's going to say add organization. So you can add the different the name of the organization. It could be SMC, org, responsibility could be training, and MOU executed. Yes, so I have an MOU that's signed for this particular organization and I'm going to save that. Okay, so now I'm going to, well, I had already uploaded an MOU, but I'm going to delete that just to show you. And then I'm going to upload it. So I'm going to click browser. And I'm going to type in MOU. And I'm going to, there it is. So now I'm going to upload it. So there it is. That's my MOU for this grant. And you can click view documents. And it'll show what you've uploaded so that you can see that it's there and you've saved it, okay? And if you don't like it or you want to switch it, you can click delete and it'll take it out for you. And you can upload something else, okay? So there are lots of things under partnerships. If you have a fiscal partner, there are several things you would have to upload. For instance, page 1 of this grant. If you click here, I have that page. There it is. There you go. So if you have a fiscal sponsor, we would like for you to have that fiscal sponsor complete page 1 of the community partnership grant because we need information about them. This one you can complete and then save it and then upload it into the portal. Okay. We'd also like to get that fiscal sponsor's organizational budget. Again, I have the budget here. So if you click here in the blue, a budget will come up. You can fill it out and then save it and browse and upload. Okay. We would also like to get their audited financial statements, their IRS tax exempt status, and a list of their board of directors. All things that you can upload here, and then you want to click save. Okay. Kanika, are there any questions so far in the chat box that I need to address?
There are a lot of questions. Some of them are very specific. And I think that if folks have a very specific question about like their particular organization and whether or not their MOU has been signed yet, our understanding is that an MOU is something that has been signed by both parties. So outside of that, we don't believe you to have an MOU. Yes. But if you do have a specific question about something like that, feel free to email at the PGC Nonprofits email and we can try to work with you. But right now, I wouldn't say that I don't see any general questions. Okay. I think that people have questions about the application. And I think if they just kind of follow along and wait for a minute, they'll see that you'll answer those questions.
Okay, great. All right. Okay, great. So I just really wanted to show you guys about the uploading, browsing and uploading, and that it will show you, the document that you've uploaded, because at the end of the at the end of the portal or the application, there's a larger section where you're going to have to upload lots of documents, and it's exactly the same, okay? So it's very easy to upload documents in the portal. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so we did partnerships. Okay. That was fiscal sponsors. That's where I showed you how to upload the MOU. All righty. They're the other documents: audit, financial statements, IRS, federal tax exempt status, and your board of directors. That's all under fiscal sponsors. If you have a fiscal sponsor, you may not have one, and that's okay. Okay, that's exactly the same as it's always been. All right, section 6 is your presence in Prince George's County. If you click this arrow here, it'll show how long you've been in Prince George's County, or how long your nonprofit has been here, 2 to 5 years, 5 to 10. So you'll click whatever that is and save. Section 7, this is the service provision by council district. So if you may not be serving a particular councilmanic district, so you just would click no. But if you are, say for instance, you are in Jolene Ivy's district, you would just click yes and click her District 5. Or you might be clicking several, because you might be serving people in several districts. Okay. Prior year grants and or contracts. So here we want to see if you received any funding in the past for this project. So here you would click yes. Once you click yes, another little box will come up and you can enter in if you've received, like the community partnership grant, you would put that in and what year you received it. Or if you received funding from the county council, you put that in, the amount of the funding and the year. So we just want to see you know, for the past 4 years where you've gotten funding from, and if it came from Prince George's County. Here is the final report requirements. So the final report for the projects are due 30 days after the program or the project has finished. We include this here in case if you've received funding for 2021 under the community partnership grant and you have not to date submitted your final report, you can submit it right here. So you would just click yes or no that you haven't submitted your final report, and then a upload box will come up and you can submit it right there if you haven't submitted your final report for fiscal year 2021 or 20 or 19. Any of the years that you have not submitted it. If you have never received CPG funding, then you won't need this box at all. Just say no and move on, okay? This is section 10, which is your proposal narrative. Those are all the requirements for your proposal: organizational mission, statement of need, project description, organization budget, project budget, and organization information and capability. So, and it just has all the requirements. So this one, you will write up your narrative and you will browse and save and upload it here, okay? These requirements have been the same for several years, so nothing really has changed here. Section 11 is the organization financial information. So this is your entire organizational budget. If you click the blue link here, it'll take you to an actual form that you can complete. You can download it, print it, complete it, and then upload it, browse and upload it and save it here. So this is the entire organization's budget. The next page, section 12, is the program budget. So again, if you click this blue link here, it'll take you to an actual form that you can complete. It's the same form from prior years. It hasn't changed, but you can click there, get the form, download it, complete it, and then upload it here. And this is just for this particular program, which is different from the organization's budget. The organization's budget is the entire organization's budget, okay? Section 13 is the assurances section, and this is where you guys, you will just click that you agree to all of the things listed, that you will administer the funds in compliance with what you submitted under the proposal. The funds received must be used in Prince George's County. The applicant has read and will conform to the program guidelines, programmatic evaluation, and financial reporting requirements. The applicant organization intends to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Agrees to provide most recent audited financial statements or most recent IRS Form 990 to the county upon request. And the filing of this application is made by the undersigned individual, and this individual is officially authorized to represent the applicant organization by its governing board. So once you read this and you click here, just click save. So you're assuring that you guys agree to everything and you have the authority to, it's sort of like signing it as your signature, okay? And again, this assurances was in the application in prior years, so no changes. Okay, section 14. Section 14 is a big section because this is where all the required documents will be uploaded, the same way as the MOUs and all of that stuff was uploaded. So here, I think there are 7 documents that needed to be uploaded here. The first one is your IRS determination letter. Okay, and that is where you receive a letter from the IRS that has verified that you are a 501c3, okay? This is not the letter that says you, with your federal ID number in it. This is the letter from the IRS that says that they have determined that you are a 501c3. So that letter will be uploaded here, okay? Uh-oh. All right, the second thing is the IRS exempt select check search. Okay, so here, if you click this blue link, it'll take you to the IRS select search website. And this has not changed, it's always been the same here. This form though will tell us, once you click it, and I put the instructions here for this particular form, click the link above. When you get to the form, you will enter your tax ID number or the organization's name, either one, and click search. When the organization's name comes up, click on your name, okay? Don't stop there. You have to click on your name. And then when you click on your name, the search results will appear and it will show you the last 3 to 4 years that you have filed your 990. Like it'll say, 2020 or 2019, 2018, Form 990. It will list them. And that's what we want to see. We want to see that everybody has filed their 990s in the past 3 to 4 years. Once you get that search, you can either screenshot it, take a picture of it with your phone, or save it some kind of way on your desktop and then browse and save it here. But we need to see those 990s listed, okay? Why do I keep doing that? Okay, part 2. So the next one is your audited financial statement or your Form 990, either one. Okay, you don't have to do both. You can do both if you want to, but either one, if you have an audited financial statement or a Form 990. But right here, and here, this blue link here is to the irs.gov website. Because what we don't want you to submit here is the Form 990N. Okay, the Form 990N really is not a information return. It just tells the IRS, if you're under $50,000 of gross receipts, most organizations can file this 990N and let the IRS know that they aren't required to file. But that doesn't have any financial information on it. So we don't accept that because it doesn't have any financial information on it. we'd like for you to either submit an audited financial statement, because of course that has financial information on it that we can clearly see, or an actual Form 990. So if you don't have either, then you're not required to, you can't apply for the community partnership grant. You have to have one or the other. Okay, so do not send us the 990 in. All right, so the next one is the IRS Form W-9, which everybody knows, and you upload that here. This next section is the good standing status. So here,
Ms. Curry,
yes,
I'm sorry, can you repeat that 990N that is not acceptable, and spoke about either doing the audit or submitting a 990? Would you mind repeating that?
yes, I will. So you have to have an independent certified public accountant do an audited financial, audit of your financial statements. Or you have to file a Form 990, because a Form 990 has, financial information on it that we can clearly see. If you are an organization that has gross receipts of $50,000 or less, under the IRS, you're not required to file a 990, and that's okay. And so they say, well, you can just file a 990N, which is just a little postcard that you can submit to the IRS. I think it has the name of the organization, the address, the federal ID number, and you just send it into the IRS. And they say, okay, this organization is under 50,000, so therefore they're not required to file a formal Form 990 or 990EZ. Okay, and that's okay for the IRS. But for the CPG grant, we have to have an independent body that says your financial statements are okay. So that's why we require either an independent audit or a Form 990 or a 990EZ, because those forms have financial information on it. Now, under the IRS rules, if you file a 990N, or if you can file a 990N because you're $50,000 or less, the IRS gives you the option of still filing a Form 990 or 990EZ. If you want to, you can choose to do that. Okay, so if you don't have an audited financial statement and you're under 50,000 and you can file the 990N, but you want to apply for the community partnership grant, I would still file a 990EZ, because that's a short form. But that short form still will have information on it that we require to see. And you can do that as an option under the IRS rules. So that's why I put the irs.gov link here, so that you can go to that link and you can read the instructions for 990N. It gives you the option to go ahead, even though you don't have to, you can still file a 990 or a 990EZ, so that you're still reporting something to the IRS. And that's what the CPG grant wants to see, some kind of the IRS saying that your financial information is good, or that independent auditor saying your financial statement is good. We need either or. We can't just have the 990N because there's no financial information on it. It's just a postcard. So does that explain it? Does everybody understand that? Kanika, are there any questions or comments in the box?
I don't see any other questions about that. And I just want to reiterate that it's the audited statements or your 990.
Yes, either or. It does not have to be both.
Right. So if you're too small to get an audited CPA, to come and do your books, then you can submit a 990EZ, and that's acceptable.
Yes. It looks like there's a question from Mr. Nicholson.
I've asked him to unmute so that he
Thank you. If you submitted a 990
Mhm.
in March, but now you've had a completed 990 filled out post submission. Do we need to send that in to the IRS, or would you take that 990 that we did it a couple months ago, still for 2020, but it's after the 990 was submitted?
Oh, so if you've submitted, yes, so it's before this CBG application is due. So yes, we would accept that.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Ms. Curry, I just want to make sure that we heard that correctly. Mr. Nicholson, not only did you fill out a 990 recently, did you submit that to the IRS?
That's a good question. Yes.
Yes, yes, we did.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard. Okay, just making sure.
So yes, but that was a good question, Kanika. So yes, it does have to be submitted to the IRS because we do want it to show up. Again, that's what the IRS Select Check search is for. So that 990 that you just submitted to the IRS, it will show up in your search, IRS Select Check search. So we'll be able to see, oh yes, there it is. He submitted that. So we're good to go, and you can submit that with your application. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. All right, but again, if you have other questions about Form 990, Form 90N, or your audited financial statements, please don't hesitate to send an email to the PGC Nonprofits email. And I monitor it all day, so does Kanika, and so does Jemiah. So somebody will get back to you as far as answering your questions. Okay. So we went through the W-9 and now we're on the good standing. So here I have links to the Maryland SStat or this, where you can get your certificate of good standing, or just check if you're in good. You don't have to have the actual certificate. You can just go to this website, put your name in, the name of the organization, and it'll come up. Yes, this organization with this address, blah, 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 is in good standing. You can screenshot that, take a picture of it or whatever, and upload it here. And I've also included an example of what it should look like here. So you can click those blue links and it'll show you what it looks like. As well as Virginia Certificate of Status. This is their link. Here's an example of a Virginia Certificate of Good Standing, and as well as Columbia. So that will come up as well. And here's an example. And in DC, they call it the clean hands. Okay, so there are 3 examples for you, but whatever state that you were originally incorporated in, that's the state, even if it's not one of these 3, it could be Idaho, it could be anywhere. Go to that state and get that certificate of good standing. Okay. All righty. Part 3 for the required documents, and this is the ACH enrollment form. So if you click the blue link here, it'll take you to the electronic funds transfer document. Again, this is the same as it's always been. Even if you've done this form before in the past, or for another grant, or for anything else in the county government, we want you to complete it again. So that we have the most current banking information for you. We've had organizations that have applied for things 2 years ago and they fill this out and their banking may have changed. They might be using a different bank account or something else. So please complete this again, have the most recent banking information for you. And the next thing is your SAP vendor number. So we require a vendor number for the community partnership grant. So if you have one already, put it here. A lot of you already have that, so put that right here and click save. If you do not have an SAP vendor number, click this blue link down here. It will take you to the online registration. Complete the form there and submit it. It will go off to Central Services and they will give you a SAP number. You're not going to get that number right away. So just say that you've completed it. Just click this box here that you've completed and save. And then I don't know how long it takes Central Services to get back a vendor number. Do you know that, Kanika? Maybe a few days or a week or something? It'll take them to get their SAP number?
Right, I would give them about a week if you're
Okay.
registering for the first time. And if you need to, it's also a good idea if you haven't confirmed your vendor number recently to send an email to the PGC nonprofits email to ask OMB to confirm your vendor number.
Yes, yes, and we will do that. Mhm. Okay. All right, so that's all the documents. And again, they're all the same documents as they were last year and the last few years. So you're at the end pretty much. Section 15 is submit your application. So we put a box here for you to print your application. You can print before you submit, print your application. So it'll print out every answer that you yes or no or whatever. It will not download the documents because of course you already have those documents on your desktop. So print your application here and then you can submit. So if you click submit, it may not allow you to submit because you've missed some documents or you've not answered some questions. So it will list at the top up here, you need to go back and complete, okay? Once you go back and complete them, you should be fine to submit. But make sure that your application is complete because you will not be able to come back and enter anything else into that application once you click submit. It'll be done. Okay, so just please make sure that you have everything in there. Everything is correct and you are happy with your application and you click submit. Once you click submit, you will get an email from the portal, just like you did when you initially started and you got your application ID number. Again, it will have this, it will come from this non-reply. So make sure you're looking for that email. The subject line will say the community partnership grant notifications, making sure you look for that because it will tell you that this application ID number has submitted successfully. So you know that we have your application, it's been submitted and you're good to go. And that's it. So you won't receive any more emails from the portal. Your application is submitted and we have it now. So you're done and you will not be able to, if you take that ID number and go back into the portal, you will not be able to get back in. It will not allow you back into the portal. So please make sure that you have all your documents and everything in that application before you hit submit. Okay. So next, we have like 20 minutes. Review of supporting documents. So here's just, again, just a checklist of everything that you're going to need to submit those documents. Your determination letter, your IRS select check, your Form 990, or your audited financial statement. Again, do not submit the Form 990 in. You have to submit your W-9, your evidence of good standing, your ACH enrollment form, and your SAP vendor number or complete the vendor request. Okay, so that's your list of documents. And here are just examples of each one. So this is the IRS determination letter. And this one is telling you that you are a 501c3, okay? That's what we need to see, that the IRS has determined you to be a 501c3. Don't send the letter that says that you got a federal ID number. A lot of folks do that. Don't do that. We need to see that you are a 501c3, okay? This is the IRS exempt organization select check. So this is what you see when you click that blue link in the portal. So this is where you'll put your name of your organization, or if you click this down box, it'll allow you to put your federal ID number there. And that's once you click search, then that's when the organization's name will come up, and then click your name. Click the name of that organization, and then that's when it will show you all the Form 990s that you've completed in the past. And that's what we want to see. Okay. 990 or audited financial statement. So this is just explaining 990s when they're due. Most of you guys already know this. And if you fail to file, this is why we ask you to send that select check. If you fail to file your 990s, the IRS will revoke your status. So that's why we ask for that select search. So that's why we're explaining this here. Okay. There's your W-9. That's always been the same. Everybody knows the W-9. Here is the evidence of good standing. So this is what the Maryland evidence of good standing looks like. And as you can see, it'll say right in here, this business is in good standing. Okay. So some folks have been sending us this letter here from, it's a charitable registration with the state of Maryland. That's not what we want to see. We want to make sure you click that link in the portal. It'll take you to this site, which shows good standing. Okay. Here's an example of the ACH form. So you will complete that and upload it into the portal. And that's the same form it's always been. And then the next thing is the SAP vendor number request form. This is the online form. Once you complete it, and then down the bottom, I have read and blah, 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 and agree, and then you click submit or send, and it sends it off to central services. They won't send your ID number right away. So just click the box that you've completed the form and click save. And you should get that probably in about a week. If you haven't, again, just submit a question to PGC Nonprofits. Okay, Mr. Nicholson, Kanika, can you see what Mr. Nicholson's question is?
I've asked him to unmute.
Okay.
Just for clarity, we don't have to go ahead and purchase that certificate of good standing, the whatever, $40 or anything, just to show a screenshot to show that we're in good standing.
Yes.
Fantastic.
So that,
fantastic.
Yes, you do not. So if you go to that site, that link in the, it'll come, this will come up. So just screenshot that.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Send that. Yes, we don't want you to have to spend any money just to show you're in good standing. Okay. All right. So things to remember. These are the do's. Always follow instructions. Keep track of your application ID number sent to you via email. Be attentive to all formatting and submission requirements. That really speaks to the narrative, your proposal narrative. Proofread your proposal. Make sure all information submitted in the application is accurate. Again, because once you submit it, it's done. Okay. And present realistic grant budgets. Yes. Okay. And the don'ts, don't wait until the last minute. Please, please, please send us an email. Many of you even have my work number. So if you want to call me, I'm always here to answer questions. That's my job. That's what I'm here for. I want to make sure you guys are submitting, all the right documents. And if you have any questions at all, please email us. Okay. We are here to work for you guys to get the best applications in. Don't make assumptions. Again, just get clarifications through the email. Don't copy anyone else's grants. That's obvious. And don't hesitate again to contact us. It's very important that you know that we are always here to answer questions, and please don't hesitate to do that. I just want to mention that as many times as I can. Submission instructions, fill out one application. It's only one application per program. Don't send 2 and 3 applications for the same program. Tomorrow morning, if you go to our website, this is the web address, you will see apply now. And that's where you can click to go to the portal to start your application. Again, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to email us at the PGC Nonprofits email, or just call me. I'm always around. All right. And questions, does anybody have any, are there any questions that I can answer for you now? Or Kanika, are there any questions in the chat box that you think we should discuss now? We have about 14 minutes.
I think most of the questions that I'm seeing, one question that I did see was the review criteria. Is that something that these applicants can have access to?
Oh, so if you go back to the proposal narrative here. So so here, organization mission, 10 points. That's why you see the points next to each thing. Because once you submit your application, the process is it'll go to OMB. So it'll go to Kanika's office and her team will review the application for content, for everything that's supposed to be there. Your IRS select check, your audited financial statements, your W-9, your ACH, all of the things. Once they say, okay, yes, they've submitted everything and their application is complete, then it'll go to a review panel. So that panel then has a score sheet. The score sheet has these categories: organizational mission, statement of need, project description, organization budget, project budget, and organizational information and capability. And they have these points. So that review committee reviews each and every complete application. And they will score you based on these points. So, so that's what we use in order to do a review of your narrative and your budget, your need, the project, that your capability, that kind of thing. So I hope, did I answer the question? Read the question to me again, Kanika.
They were asking about the review criteria. I think it's more asking about the review criteria for the overall application. So like what specific things is the county executives team looking for when they decide, once the applications are complete, who will receive a grant? And
Gotcha. Okay, so once they are reviewed and, oh, Cheryl, let's see what her question is. Maybe is she the one asking this question?
I don't remember exactly who asked it.
Okay. You want to unmute Cheryl first and see?
No, ma'am, that was not my question. And I'll wait till you finish this one and I'll type my question in the chat box if that's better.
Okay, that'd be great. Okay, so so what we do is once all of the reviewers, we have reviewers on the inside of the government in the county executive's office, as well as on the outside of the government. We try to find folks in the community that are experts in mental health or in education or in whatever, we have different categories for the different grant proposals. So once that everybody, and at least 2 to 3 people will review each and every application. So one application will have maybe 3 reviewers. We'll look at, and then we'll take the scores based on what you see here, the 10, 20, 70, 25, these points, and we average them based on the 3 reviewers and come up with one score. Then we'll organize them the highest to lowest score. And then we categorize them. So there are projects that deal with mental health. There are projects that deal with, after school student programs. There are senior citizens. There's violence programs. There's all veterans programs. So we organize them that way, and we organize them by the highest score to the lowest. We'll go and select the highest score first. Whoever in each category gets the highest score, then we'll pick that organization. If we have funding left, and remember, we only have $1.6 million. Generally, we get about 150 applications in total asking for $10 to $11 million in grant funding. So once we go through each category and pick the highest score, if we have funding left, then we'll go back and pick the second one. So that's how the process is done. And again, we'll go back and pick the third out of each category. So that's how it's done. It's based on the score that the reviewers have given you, and from highest to lowest. So I hope I answered that question.
I think so. Ms. Curry, can you also answer how the award amount is determined?
So that one's a little trickier. It'll depend on what your need is, what your budget is, if you're getting funding from other sources. So that one, it depends on a lot of other things. And how many, organizations that are in your category. Like there's lots of organizations under education dealing with kids. So if that's the case, then we try to, maybe spread the funding out. Maybe nobody in that category will get $100,000. We might give each of you 10. So that one really kind of depends. So that one's a little harder to answer. Is there another one, Kanika? Or did I answer that one okay?
Sorry. I'm trying to find a question that would be more relevant to everyone as a group, and there's a lot of questions coming in. As far as there's a question, wanting to partner with another organization that will likely submit their own application for a different type of activity. Are
That's
they
fine.
permitted? Are they permitted to partner on my application as well?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And how do you handle, there is a question about, sorry. There's a question about, well, I'm trying to remember the specific one because I thought it was a good one. If they need to report on receiving funds like a previous year CPG award, but their report for that award isn't due yet, should they just click no, or should they know they have not submitted their report? Or
Yes.
can we detail somewhere that, well, we haven't submitted our report, but it's not due yet?
And that's fine. Just say it's not due. Just say the project is not completed yet. So, and just click no and in the describe box, just say the project's not completed yet. And that's perfectly normal.
Okay. Is there a funding priority focus this year?
Well, that's difficult too, because the last couple of years, 2020 and 2021, of course, have been focused on COVID. So a lot of the grant funding went towards organizations that had, food distribution centers and pantries and things like that. So I can't really answer that question yet. That's really more of a question for the panel as a whole, the CPG review panel, because we are still in the midst of the pandemic. It is really not over yet. So we have to go back and find out what the need is in the community, if there's still need for food distribution. We have to, mental health, for our students. There are a lot of programs that do training and after school work with students. And a lot of our kids suffered quite a bit during COVID. So there might be funding, geared more towards organizations that do that. So right now I can't really answer that question. We have to sort of discuss it in the committee and discuss it with the county executive's office and see. So I really can't answer that question right now.
Okay. Can we give Ms. Cheryl Walker a chance to ask a question? I'm going to ask her to unmute.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you very much. It was actually just answered. I wanted to know if the next round of grants would be pretty much made up of COVID issues. So we've covered me perfectly. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay.
Okay, and I think it also might be helpful because people are asking questions about the application, and honestly, all of these questions are answered there. So perhaps, although the portal will be open tomorrow, maybe we can also, so that people don't have to kind of like start an application before they know exactly what's being asked of them. Maybe we can put a downloadable version of the application on the website so that people can see what questions will be asked of them before they get into starting an actual application.
No, that won't be possible because I didn't make a downloadable version of the application because we did the portal this year. So by the time I edit and get a downloadable version, the portal will be open. So,
Gotcha.
and really everything in this PowerPoint presentation is what's in the application. So that will be on the website this afternoon, this presentation with the PowerPoint. So everything really is right here in the PowerPoint presentation. There's nothing else. It is exactly like the application itself.
Okay, Ms. Curry, would you mind if there are a couple of, I think, kind of easy
Sure.
questions that it would take me a
Absolutely.
while to type out. So there's a question about, can you only pick one service category? Yes, you can only pick one service category, and that has not changed from year to year. So you can find a list of the categories in the portal tomorrow morning when that becomes available.
Yes.
And Mr. Hanford Lynn had a question. I was hoping that he would raise his hand about, are other sources of funding scored higher or lower? I don't quite know what that means. So you can
No.
email that question. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the quick answer would be no. There's no higher or lower if you're getting funding from other sources. But if you want to put a more detailed question, yeah, in an email to me, that would be better. And we can sort of talk directly. But no, we want to just make sure the idea behind asking you that question is to see if you're able to sustain yourself without, for instance, if you don't get CPG funding. We want to see if you have other sources of, grant funding or contracts out there so that your organization can, sustain itself. We have such limited funding in the CPG grant that we don't want folks to become dependent on it or be completely devastated if they don't get this funding. So that's really the motivation behind the question. So no, we wouldn't score you lower if you had some out there. That's actually a good thing if you do have some more or additional funding from somewhere else.
Okay. I don't think can one organization submit different applications? No.
No.
One application per organization.
Yes.
And there was a question about, how people are allowed to check that they serve multiple age groups.
Yes.
Why can't they be able to click that they serve multiple service categories? Why do they have to choose for one service category? Is that something that can be changed?
So there is also an option under that service category to put other. So click other and then describe what that is. If you're doing multiple things, click other and tell us what they are instead of trying to click one.
Okay, I think that's all of the questions. If anybody else has any other questions, then you feel free to submit an email.
Let's just take Miss Denny while she's here real quick.
Oh, okay, sure. I've asked her to unmute.
Good morning. Thank you, Ms.
You're
Curry.
welcome. Absolutely. How are you today?
I am well. I got distracted by the kids. They're in school, but I just want to make sure I didn't miss this as it relates to if you've received funding from the COVID-19 grant that the county exec just put out. Does that disqualify you or qualify you for this?
It does not disqualify you. So you can certainly apply for the CPG grant, even if you got funding under the COVID relief fund.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That was all.
Okay. All right, so I think we are good. Kanika, are we good on the questions?
I believe so. I think everyone else will be submitting an email.
Yes, just please submit us an email, or if you have my number, just call me. And I'd be happy to discuss or, your questions. So, but thank you guys. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We do appreciate it. And remember, the portal will be open tomorrow morning, but this presentation will be on our website this afternoon. Okay? Thanks everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.